What's up, YouTube? It's your main man, AB the Hero, back again with another video, and your boy Lamelo Ball is finally back on the ESPN Top 100. So ESPN just released the updated list of top 100 recruits of high school basketball here in the United States. Lamelo Ball, who was previously number 7 on that list in his sophomore season, fell off of that list and is now back on it, clocking in at number 13 overall in the top 100 in the United States, number 1 in the state of California, number 3 regionally. ESPN finally cleared up why they had taken him off the list in the first place, saying that their policy is that they only rank players who are on U.S. soil on this, because Melo Ball was playing overseas. He was not on U.S. soil, therefore he was not on the list, I guess. Also, Lamelo Ball starting to make some headway and is jumping back on some 2020 mock drafts. So he'll be graduating in 2019 as a 17-year-old, but will have to wait till 2020 to enter the NBA draft. ESPN has him going right now, 33rd pick overall in the 2nd round to the Phoenix Suns. All right. Some other draft sites, NBADraft.net, they had him going 16th overall to the Brooklyn Nets. NBADraftRoom.com had him going 28th overall. Looking at these mock drafts is pretty interesting. Obviously, the first one had him going almost in the lottery, 16th pick, right outside of the lottery. The other two in the 1st round to the beginning of the 2nd round. Now, what I find interesting about these is a few different things. All right, so when you look at the mock draft from NBADraft.net, they have him going 16th overall. The Lakers in that mock draft have the 18th pick. And in my head, I'm thinking, yo, if LaMelo's going 16 and you the Lakers and you got 18, you gotta move up to go get him, right? If he's falling that far into the draft. But it's also interesting now is when you look at the game and you read a lot of the scouting reports on Melo, and his game has been evolving since the last time you've seen Melo, Jello, and Lonzo on the court. And obviously, if you follow LeVar and the Big Baller Brand, the ultimate goal to have all 3 sons in the NBA playing on the same team. That would be the blessing. That would be the best case scenario for that situation. But now we're starting to see Melo develop into a true point guard. A guy who his strength is passing the ball, facilitating, getting people open, finding scores, getting it to the shooters. So now when you look at him and Lonzo, they pretty much playing the same position. So I think that it makes it a little gray. If you are the Lakers, would you move up if you still have Lonzo running the point? Or you know, what does that look like moving forward? I know that LeVar has always said Lonzo was a point guard, LaMelo would just bump over the shooting guard, and then and like that. So it would be interesting to see if that plan could come together, what that would look like with this new developed game from LaMelo Ball times the game of Lonzo Ball. What I found interesting about a lot of these mock drafts is that, especially the ones where he was rated lower, there was some obvious shots kind of taken, right? So in the ESPN mock draft where they have him going in the 2nd round, they make a point to mention that the last time they watched LaMelo Ball play basketball was for BC Vytautas in Lithuania, and that him being back in a traditional recruiting setting makes it easier to find him a place in the mock draft. Now, if you've been following LaMelo Ball, you know that he played in the JVA, played with JVA USA overseas, and the way that they worded it made it to seem like that just did not happen, which is interesting because ESPN had so many top 10 plays of the week highlights from LaMelo Ball, so the idea that we didn't get to see him play basketball except for when he was in Vytautas is kind of to me, it's kind of a shot, right? It's pointing out the fact that they're not going to acknowledge something. So it goes back to when they say, well, because you weren't on U.S. soil, we took you off the list, and I gave you those air quotes. That's what that is about, because it just doesn't make sense. If you want me to believe that the scouts from ESPN never watched the JVA live stream, never watched one of those JVA USA games, like I personally can't go for that. All right. Then also, when you look at on NBADraftRoom.com mock draft, you see them like on every player giving like a little blurb about that player and what they do and all of this stuff. Lamelo Ball is the only one on that list in the first round who has something negative about him in his little blurb. Talks about him being an elite shooter, excellent passing, but then goes on to give him a sentence and a half about how his defense is not that good. And so to me, it says a little something right there when you look at all of these other players. And it's all positive characteristics about their games, but then you get to LaMelo and you got to throw a little, let me give you, it can't be all positive, let me give you some negative. I feel like what that is folks hedging their bets. Like, we understand that the dude is highly talented, but we don't necessarily want to jump out the window and push him up to the beginning of the draft. But we also don't want to look stupid if he ends up being drafted in the top 10, top 5, and we said that we had him 28th or 33rd. So even in the mock draft from ESPN, they threw in a mention of a team drafting him also be getting in business with a big baller brand, which is a little bit extra. But now, here is where the hot takes come in. All right, so my thoughts on this whole thing is that I've said this before when I originally made a video a while back about LaMelo going to high school and why I thought that was happening. It's to get back into this position where now your name is on the top 100 list. You know what I'm saying? Put some respect on my name. Your name is back into the 2020 mock drafts. Put some respect on my name there. So your name is back into those circles. So you got that respect put back on your name. And then now you get to have your choice again of what you want to do. LaMelo, prior to leaving high school, could have went to any school in the country. He was already committed to UCLA. We know that that's not happening, but he has some decisions to make on where he's going next. First of all, they have to find out eligibility things. According to the camp, they feel like he's eligible. Didn't get paid to play in Lithuania, didn't get paid to play in the JBA, so he should be eligible to play for the NCAA. It'll be up to the NCAA to determine whether or not they're gonna go for that. What I think though is the key, if you go back to the brand, the move that I think that they should be trying to make is establishing Jello now. What we've seen is that LaMelo being back on US soil playing basketball has been good for his personal brand when it comes to rankings and all of that stuff. Now I think, how do you get Jello back in that same situation? With Melo now being back into the top 100, I believe that the move is to figure out how do we get Jello's college eligibility back and then get him and LaMelo on a team in the NCAA. I think that if they can both get their eligibility back, then what you have is the Ball brothers in March Madness, right? And then you don't necessarily even have to go to a top tier team, a top 25 school. You go get you a 25 and down school, somebody on the edge, and say, we're gonna give you the Ball brothers. You gotta hoop with them. There's not a lot of teams that would turn that down. You know what I'm saying? Now, I do understand that. The difference between Jello and Melo is the agent. Jello got an agent, was trying to shop around G League, NBA, all of this stuff. But what we've seen over the past couple of years, which I credit to the influence of the JBA, Big Baller Brand, LeVar and them, is rules have been changing within the NCAA. Right now, certain players can have an agent while they're playing in the NCAA. And I would be trying to see how do we get Jello on that list, right? And that's all I got for y'all today. Stay tuned. We got more content coming. Hit that bell, like, subscribe, all of that good stuff. It's your main man, AB the Hero. I'm out. Peace.